Right, so we've turned off the water and we've taken off the two shrouds and the actual tap itself, and that we need now to undo that nut there with a suitable sized wrench, which I'm going to do now. Right. There we go. Right, that's come undone now, and we can unscrew that part. If you've got an extensive toolkit, you could probably find a spanner of that size, but I find that an adjustable spanner, providing it has got, you can see these ones, it's got a very sharp jaw there, and that actually gets into most positions that I need to. Right, so undo that, and as you can see, these bit of surplus water come out of there, and there's the part that's come out. Just to show you how these work, the twisting action there, when it's in, and you can see there it actually shuts off. You see that there in the camera? Just shuts off that valve there, look. Interesting. Anyway, so we've done that, and now we can put in the new one and screw that back into there. Now, interestingly enough, the actual nut size is completely different on this one to the one I took out. So I've got to open up the jaws quite considerably to get that on there. But nevertheless, I can do that, and then tighten up this one. Right, tighten that up. There we go. We don't want to over tighten it because there is a washer on there, and just give it some support there as we tighten that off. How tight is it's a feel tight, and when it feels really tight, that probably is enough. So I'm not going to give that any more now. So that's that part. And then this, let's just take a kitchen towel, clean out the gunge in there so it looks a bit cleaner on the edge, and clean that there, that's fine. And then we can screw that into there then, like so. We can then put back on the handle itself, which is that way around, obviously, with that thread there, and that goes into there like so. We want it in the upright position there, and then get the screw and the screwdriver to screw that back into there. There you go. There we go. Just quite a long thread this, and it seems to be going on forever, but there we go. That's now tight. It's probably too tight. If you do it up too tight, then the handle itself becomes very tight. I made that mistake when I did the other side, so I'll just slacken it off a bit. There you go. That's okay now. All right. Clean up that debris and put the get back on with a little hot. Screw that in there. Without cross-threading it, hopefully. That's cross-threaded. Right. Getting that in there correctly. No, it doesn't feel right. That feels like it's cross-threaded. I'm going to there we go. That's got it now. It was a bit tight, that thread, but nevertheless. There you go. That's tight now. I'm not going to tighten that with the mole grips. It felt tight enough. That feels good now. What I can do now is turn back on the water under the sink. Got the wrong one. That's the goal, isn't it? There we go. Quite easy when you're upside down inside a cupboard to actually be turning it the wrong way, which is what I was doing. So now we have that now, and that is the hot water, and it's working fine. So now we shouldn't have any leaks from either of those taps, and that shouldn't drip anymore, and therefore we won't have this annoyance during the evening when it's depressurizing. Now what I would just like to mention, when I took these out yesterday, I took the cold out first of all, saw that that's what the valve was and so forth, and went off to City Plumbing in Lichfield to actually replace that part. When I got there, they found one with all the right dimensions, and I came back with that ready to replace it. Took that apart, ready to put this in, put the new one in, but the actual handle there didn't fit on that there, so it was completely different. Now the actual price of that was £15.60 or something like that. So I thought, well, I'll take it back. So I took the other one out, took it back again, and asked them to remeasure it with one that actually fitted that spline there. Well, they couldn't, so they hadn't got one. So they gave me a credit note for the £15.60 or whatever it was. And I thought, well, I'll have a wander around. Well, I knew there was a big B&Q on my journey in the afternoon, so I went in there and looked for that, and no joy anywhere. They got lots and lots of taps, not many fittings and so forth. And there was another City Plumbing, and I thought, well, I'll go in there because they might have a different box. Went in there, no joy. So I was getting pretty desperate, and I thought, well, I'll put because I'd got all this stripped down at that time. I thought, well, I'll put this back in because it's dripping, but it's not a major problem at the moment, and see whether I can source this. I had to go somewhere else to get some fuel, and by there was a Wix. Now, I've never been too impressed with Wix. I've got things from them, but I've never been that impressed with what they have, their range. Anyway, I went into Wix, and would you believe they had the exact parts that I wanted, which is now what I fitted there. There's two in that, ceramic glands they're called, 7mm for 3/8 and ½ inch taps, which is what that is. Those both from Wix were £6. Now, call me silly, but price fluctuations between £15.60 or whatever it was and £6, I find that absolutely amazing. So I won't be venturing back to City Plumbing all too often. I might well look online, or again go to Wix rather than that. So that concludes my job on this particular one, and both of them are working fine now. No, they're not. I've just turned the cold off now. It's cold now, working. So there we go, and that concludes that job. And as I said before, now that I've got the taps on, both working fine and no drips. Thanks for watching.